Alright, so we're started. I dyed the hair, so it's a little bit darker now. If you want to compare, I don't know if you want to, but so I'm just going to get started. Hamlet oral media essay. Love, death, and revenge are all major themes in Shakespeare's most iconic play, Hamlet. For decades, directors tried to adapt the classic play to cinema, with Franco Zeffirelli casting Mel Gibson as Hamlet in his 1990 adaptation, as well as Gregory Doran remaking the play featuring David Tennant. This essay will prove that Gregory Doran's adaptation of Act 1, Scene 5 is superior to Franco Zeffirelli's version. Doran's scene is more powerful because it uses various screenplay methods to evoke pathos from the audience. His scene is also more immersive than Zeffirelli's, as his production quality is better. Doran's adaptation shows the importance of Act 1, Scene 5 best. In the scene, Hamlet learns that his father was murdered by his uncle. This scene drives the play forward because it gives Hamlet the motive to kill Claudius, and this motive is the central focus of the entire play. Everything prior to the scene is establishing characters and political tensions, as well as backstory. The 2009 version of Hamlet, featuring David Tennant, shows the importance of Act 1, Scene 5 because it is more powerful and more immersive than the 1990 adaptation, featuring Mel Gibson. Doran's version of the play is more powerful for multiple reasons. David Tennant and Patrick Stewart, the ghost of King Hamlet, express themselves in a dramatic way. They speak passionately and forcefully, unlike Mel Gibson and Paul Scofield, who are weaker in their roles. Stewart ends the scene grabbing Tennant by his collar and saying, oh, horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. The way in which he grabs Hamlet and his emotions are unrivaled by Paul Scofield, who gently says the words, with little movement and passion. The camera work from Doran's version is also superior to the work of Zeffirelli's. Throughout Doran's scene, the camera follows the ghost, showing the importance of his character in the scene. All of the headshots of the ghost are low-angle shots, an angle which is used to represent authority. This shows the power that the ghost has over Hamlet, as well as Hamlet's perspective of the interaction as he is kneeling in the scene. The 1990 version lacks the sense of authority and power that the 2009 version has. The final example of the power portrayed in the scene is the use of music. Doran's version has music throughout the scene. The score uses strings instruments as well as crescendos to enhance the emotion of the scene. The music gradually becomes louder, peaking when Hamlet's motive is revealed to him by the ghost. The version featuring Gibson, however, does not feature music until about 2 minutes in, with the crescendos lacking and the dramaticism used by the Tennant version. Actor performance, camera angles, and musical selection all give the 2009 version of Hamlet, featuring David Tennant, a more dramatic and powerful viewing experience than Zeffirelli's interpretation. The dramatic nature of the 2009 version evokes pathos from the audience, which allows the audience to experience and understand the scene in a more emotionally charged film than the 1990 version. Another aspect of Doran's adaptation of Act 1, Scene 5 is the audience's immersion and the quality of the production. His version was shot almost 20 years after Zeffirelli's, and it is clear that the camera, audio, and post-production technology has advanced a noticeable amount since. Doran's version was recorded in a higher resolution, as well as the audio being noticeably clearer. These are subtle elements, but they're important because they contribute to the audience's viewing experience. A better viewing experience through the use of higher quality technology makes the viewer feel immersed in the film. The immersion helps the audience connect to the characters. Building a sense of connection to the characters and investment in their problems makes media more enjoyable for the audience, as it makes the viewer more likely to care about the outcome of the story. This is the biggest difference between the version featuring Gibson and the version featuring Tennant. The Tennant version makes the audience feel immersed by the story, while the Gibson version makes the audience feel detached from the outcome of the play. The time in which the films are set is also important to note. The Doran version is set in a modern setting where security footage exists, likely in the 2000s, while Zeffirelli's version is placed in the Renaissance. It is easier for an audience to relate to a contemporary period, unlike a time period far in the past. This immersion related to the time period is why the 2009 version of Hamlet is superior to its 1990s counterpart. Act 1, Scene 5 is a key moment in Hamlet. It establishes Hamlet's motive, which is the driving force of the rest of the play. This scene shows us who the antagonist of the play is, as well as Hamlet's emotions for his father. The version featuring Tennant is better than the version featuring Gibson because it conveys more emotion and power, using techniques such as expression, movement, camera angles, and music. It is also better because it is more immersive to the audience, which makes the audience feel connected to the characters and evokes pathos. Shakespeare's work has been remade and critiqued for centuries because this classic leaves room for interpretation. Both films are set in two completely different time periods, and Franco Zeffirelli and Gregory Durand have successfully remade them to create compelling storytelling. It is clear, though, that Gregory Durand's interpretation of Shakespeare's Act 1, Scene 5 of Hamlet is more appealing to the viewer and the story than Franco Zeffirelli's. Thank you.